The NIA's confirmation now validates the use of drones in the attack, marking a significant development in the ongoing investigation. The report categorically states that 40 bombs were dropped by militants in September 2024. The drones used to drop bombs on Koutruk and Kadangband. On this, I am joined by Major General Ashwani Sivach and PK Mishra, former ADG BSF. I'll straight away go to Mr. Mishra. Mr. Mishra, this completely rejigs the game. Earlier, there were conflicting reports. Now, NIA, in its submission, has stated that the drones were procured. But one thing which really catches my eye is that people were thinking that the drones were coming from Myanmar across the border. These chaps were purchasing them from Haryana and Delhi.
Delhi. Yes, Kartika, what NI has brought it out. I could visualize how it began from Matmung. He is the person who brought it, who could procure it after paying it online from Haryana and Delhi. It is something surprising. And they were used, and in fact, there were experts to handle this. And just see these drones, they were capable of flying from 500 meters up to 15 kilometers range, and they can carry bombs and they can carry hand grenades also, and they can well visualize, they can take the photograph of the targets, and they can watch the target also pretty well. It is, in fact, we were first thinking that it came from Myanmar, but it is a surprising issue that NIA could find it out, and the way the drones were taken to these areas, to the hills to fire on Koutruk areas and Sanjam areas, the Kadangband areas. In fact, they were carried by an ambulance from Limakong area. From Limakong, that is, in fact, from Imphal towards left side, and it was taken to these areas, and from the hills they were fired. And in fact, the drones,
See,
the
it's,
drones were used
Mr.
and the
Mishra,
bombs were planted.
see, Mr. Mishra, that is the nitty gritty.
Yep.
Larger issue is, General Sivach, I mean, so what do you do with the dual use technology? These are not war drones. I mean to say, these drones are available here. So how do disturbed states deal with this dual use technology? It is a great challenge to our Indian security forces.
Absolutely. Karthike, drones can be a big boon as well as it can be a big disaster. You see, drones can be used as a weapon. This is very well known. Basically, if you see Azerbaijan and Armenia war, the Azerbaijan won the war basically use of drones which were given by them by Turkey and Israel. And thereafter, the drones were also used heavily in Russia-Ukraine war. And also, technology which was used was a very novel done by Hamas on 7th October when they attacked on Israel. They used paramotors and also drones. So the point today is, of course, the drones can be also used for supplying medicine and logistic in remote areas, and they can be a great, you can say, beneficiary and facilitator in time to come. But the problem is that you have to make strict laws because drones can be misused and the drone technology can be misused. Now, we have been thinking all the time that drones have been coming from China. Obviously, they are coming from China because China, why it comes in, it is easy to smuggle from Myanmar. Second thing is drones are very common nowadays. It can be easily packed in a very small packet and then can be assembled here and then the weapon can be put. In this case, a case in point which we want to know and how it has happened is that the supplier being a local only from Rohtak as well as from Delhi, and these drones were bought online and they were procured from there and they were used in the Imphal Valley, and this has created a confusion. 40 hand grenades were dropped and they acted like a weapon. So the point today is twofold. One is that you have to make a very strict law within the countries. The drones cannot be manufactured by anyone and everyone, and drones can't be given to anyone. There has to be a proper license. And the second thing, what we have to be very sure is that you have to ensure the drones do not come from outside. It's very easy to get a drone from Chinese. You remember what is happening on basically in J&K border and also in Punjab border. The drones which are used by Pakistan ISI are being used for sending drugs as well as weapons, and they can travel almost about about 500 to 1,000 kilometer inside because they have that much stamina. So the point is strict laws have to make locally that the drones cannot be used by the local vendor. There has to be proper license. If these drones fall into the hands of overcount worker and sleeper cell, you don't need enemy from
But
outside. The enemy
okay,
will be
but there is
within your
also
own country.
another issue, Mr. Mishra. There was an intense phase when people claimed that the drones were used. Now NIA has confirmed it that the bombs were dropped. Suddenly it stopped. How did it happen?
Yes, I think when it was known that the drones were used and the bombs were dropped from the drones, and there was in fact the security agencies, they came to know that the drones were used, and those hills from where the drones were fired, because the distance was, because I spoke to one of the eyewitness who has seen the drones dropping the bombs. I spoke to him at Sanjam. I told the
Mr.
drones
Mishra,
came
my
from the
question
hills.
is, Mr. Mishra, my
Yeah,
question is, why did it stop?
yeah, it stopped because you see that immediately the hill areas were immediately covered by the security forces, and they could not get a place to launch it. And that was the region. And in fact, there was an operation immediately on the 2nd of September after the second round was dropped, and near Moirang, one drone was also used. And after that, the security forces tried to climb up the hills. That is why the drones could not be used, and they were totally hidden.
General Sivaj, if you recall that the drone bombing and the protest and agitation that took place was one of the worst phases which Imphal Valley underwent. Now everything is much better than what it was. There is a lot of I would say, not to use the word peace, but there is some sense of normalcy. But in this case, Bangladesh wants to give permission to Starlink. You have the issue of drones. Has the military theatre changed in Northeast because of these technological leaps and bounds that we are witnessing in defense warfare? Drones were not there in 1990s. You have drones. Technology like General Sivat, Starlink was not there. It is there. You have more availability of weapons in the valley. If you look at the weapons that have come back, I would say it's nothing. It's not even peanut. People have not actually come out and given back the weapons. How difficult this theatre has become and challenging for the Indian armed forces. What are the biggest challenges which our men, security forces are facing in Manipur?
Yeah, Kartike very rightly brought out. First of all, the complete complexity of the war has changed in Northeast. You see, Northeast, the peace has prevailed because Sheikh Hasina government has cooperated with the Indian government, and all those extremist camps which were there in Chittagong Hills were overnight thrown out.